Hey there, brilliant people. So today's question is, what are the different ways that I can use intuition as a tool? And I'm happy to tell you, there are 7. So what are the 7 ways that we can use our intuition? Well, so this is really more a sort of a broad picture kind of thing. Remember that intuition is all about helping you really align to who you really are so that you can create a life that is more your shaped kind of life. So for me, it's about creating a Catherine shaped life. For you, it's about creating a life that is truly serving you and who you truly are. So in many ways, these different ways that we can use intuition, it's because these are the different areas of life. And when any of these areas of life are really not serving us, it's going to cause us a bit of stress, a bit of difficulty. So it is quite good to actually get ourselves into a position whereby all of these areas of our life do have more alignment, hopefully increasing alignment to who we truly are. So what are these areas? Right. So the first one is perhaps the way that most people think about intuition, which is the spiritual. And I mean that even if you don't necessarily have a sense of something, greater than, or, some sense of what it is that is helping creation unfold, or even if you don't have a sense of something greater. I mean, I suppose for intuition, it helps a lot of people have a sense of something greater, but if you don't, that's fine. Because when I am talking about spirituality, I'm really talking about, perhaps those larger connections, but those larger connections, because those larger connections are often what informs our connection to the things that are most meaningful for us. So when I'm talking about spirituality, I'm talking about you being able to have a purposeful life, to have a meaningful life, like have a life that whatever is meaningful for you, your intuition will actually help you align your life so that you are in alignment with that purpose, so that you do actually feel like you are adding to that value that is your meaning. And that's really important for all of us, because that is so much a foundational thing for us to know that we are expressing our value in the world. And that is a deeply personal thing. Spirituality always is. But it's also a deeply important thing, because so many people talk about that they're feeling adrift in life because they don't have that sense of purpose or meaning. So one is the spiritual or the meaningful kind of side of life. The second level is the mental. So, and by the mental, I don't just mean having clear thoughts, although intuition can definitely help with that. But because intuition is, again, it's about us having that alignment to who we really are. So when we're looking at the mental side of life, we're looking at how we create our thoughts. Because a lot of us, whether we're conscious of it or not, we all have these different beliefs or different ideas about how we should behave, how society should behave. And if those ideas are not really serving us, in the sense that are your ideas making it easier for you to have a fulfilled life, or is it making it harder? Your intuition is going to help you create more ideas, have more thoughts that actually truly serve you. So that's another area that you can use intuition as a tool. The third area that you can use intuition as a tool is then the emotional area. So when I was talking about the spiritual, comes into the mental a bit as well, I suppose, is by having a meaningful life, having an idea of the purpose of our life. It's the spiritual side, having ideas or beliefs that truly serve us. That's got more the mental. Those things really help us have self-confidence, because we know that what we're doing in life, how we're expressing ourselves, is of value. The emotional side of life is more in the present moment. Most feelings are very present time. This is how it is right now for me. This is what I'm experiencing, and this is why I'm feeling like this. So the more that we actually have our intuition working on that emotional level, the more that, again, we can work from letting go of perhaps emotions that don't serve us anymore and work towards really an emotional life that does serve us. Now, why is this important? Apart from your life serving you, the problem is, for many of us, is that what can feel good emotionally has often got more to do with what we're used to. It's often got more to do with the familiar than necessarily it has to do with what truly serves us. So by actually working with our intuition, we have a greater chance, therefore, of actually being able to open up more to those things that serve us and let go of the things that don't. So that's the third area in which our intuition can serve us, is the emotional area. Now, the fourth area, if you've figured out this pattern, you will know that the fourth area is the physical. So that can be anything from intuitive eating, like knowing what you need to eat, like tuning into your body and eating what you need to eat for your well-being that day, to tuning into your body when you're going to go and do your exercise, or not just what kind of exercise, whether you're going to the gym or you're going to go for a run, or personally I like bushwalking, whatever it is. So it's not just when you're going to do it, but even once you've chosen a particular activity and you've gone and done it, listening to your intuition so that you know how to go about it. So if you don't know, I'm also a chiropractor. So yeah, quite a few of the people that I see in my clinic are people who've actually been doing supposedly things that are good for them. They've been exercising, but then they've injured themselves. A lot of those injuries can actually be reduced or stopped altogether by learning to listen to their body and their intuition on that physical level, because their intuition, and that's that very sort of body-based intuition, knows how to line themselves up so that we can stay in our alignment with our well-being rather than ending up getting injured. So that is the fourth area, is the area of our physical. Right. Before I go on to the next one, of course, I mentioned intuitive eating. Yeah, that can be particularly important when you're eating out, because if you look at it and you decide, oh, I really particularly want to eat this, I don't know, chicken curry or something, and your intuition is going, yeah, no, but you don't want to eat it in this place on this day, listen to it. Could help you avoid trouble. Yeah. So intuitive eating can definitely be about what's going to increase your well-being that day, but it can also help you avoid issues. All right, so that's the fourth level. The fourth area is the physical area. The fifth area is something that I do talk about a bit from time to time, which is the financial, this stuff, money. Because not only can your intuition help you about like who to actually do business with and who to not do business with. I mean, I would not be doing as well as I am if I didn't actually have the accountant I have today, and my intuition led me to him essentially. So when you can find your intuition, it also can help you avoid trouble. It can also help you find opportunities. But again, remember that your intuition is about you being who you really are. And you'll find that one of the things that all successful investors will sort of talk about is that they've found a particular way of investing or a particular kind of niche in investing that really speaks to them, that works for them. And that's why they're so successful at it, because it's very them to be doing investing in that way. Warren Buffett invests very differently to George Soros, even though they both, well, George Soros really does more currency trading, I suppose. But like what I'm saying is, like, Warren Buffett invests through the stock market. There are different ways of doing that. So it's finding a way that works for you, that really talks to you. Or maybe you don't want to be involved in the stock market at all. Maybe you'd much rather get involved in property or something. But again, working with property, like some people want to, I don't know, own a lot of units or something. Other people want to buy property, renovate it, flip it. The thing is, however you end up investing, the thing is with investing, like a lot of things in life, the people who do the best tend to have consistency and they tend to have longevity. So they're doing the same thing that's working for a long time. So if it's not something that is right for you, that's not a good fit for you, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to keep doing it. So yeah, you want your intuition to help you find the thing that really speaks to you. So because, of course, and then on top of that, because it does really speak to you, it's going to mean that your intuition is going to speak to you more loudly in that area, and that's really going to serve you well. So that's the fifth area, is the financial area. The sixth and seventh area, which getting on to now, they're in many ways more not like those. The first five areas are really about how we create our own life. They're about our own creations. I suppose with the financial area, if you're looking at your finances and your partner's finances, it can both come into it, but you get the point. The thing is, when we come into the last two areas, they're more like co-creative areas. So there, obviously, when we're talking about co-creation, there are some other skills involved, because we're then looking not just at our intuition, but how to work with our intuition, as well as accommodating or harmonizing or aligning with the intuition of somebody else. So again, however, because when we're working on a co-creation has to be founded on our creation. Like, there's no point in co-creating something with somebody else if what you're being a part of creating is not going to sit well with you. So just in the same way as interdependency has to be founded on independency, co-creation needs to be founded on creation. So sixth area is relationships. Now, these can be any kind of relationships, from friendships to families, partners to business. You want to listen to your intuition. I mean, how many times have people told the story of, I just knew something was wrong, or I knew something was up, or I knew that, this person, like, things had changed and maybe I couldn't trust the situation anymore. So you want to really be able to develop intuition in those areas, because not only do you want to be able to trust your own intuition when your intuition is saying to you, you need to get in touch with so-and-so because they really need you right now, but you also want to be able to rely on your intuition when it's saying to you, yeah, maybe don't get involved with this person, whether it's in business or your personal life, because they're just going to bring a whole lot of chaos into your life. Your relationships are there to help you expand your joy with the right in the sense of, with the kind of relationships that truly serve you, that where there is a mutual support, mutual expansion, those relationships will truly serve you and the other person. It's a great joy, because those relationships enable you to experience shared joy and mutually expansive joy, which is a wonderful thing. This is why so many of us are looking for our place of belonging, if I can call it that, or our tribe of belonging. Because we're looking for that experience where somebody else's inspiration and joy triggers our inspiration and joy, and our inspiration and joy triggers their inspiration and joy, and we just keep sparking off each other, and it's wonderful. And if you listen to your intuition, you will greatly increase your chances of being able to find your people of belonging, so that you can have these mutually expansive exchanges. So that is what am I up to? That's the sixth area, is relationships. So the seventh and final area, it is a different kind of relationships. And in many ways, I guess it's something that, well, maybe a lot of us don't necessarily think of applying our intuition to. And maybe some of us don't even necessarily think of it as an essential part of our life, but it is. And of course, a lot of what's happening around the planet at the moment, it makes it very clear that it is something that we need to be more consciously using our intuition with, maybe, like, so that we can have more of a conscious relationship with it. So that seventh area is actually the environment. And by the environment, I can take it whatever level is meaningful for you. So the environment, by what I mean by that is, it's a different kind of relationship, but when we talk about relationships, we're generally talking about, obviously, with other humans. But when we're talking about the environment, we're talking about people who aren't human. And I suppose, like, for some people, you can argue whether you want to put your cat or your dog into your, relationships in general or into the environment. That's up to you. But things like your house plants, that's one of the ways that we create our environment. The house itself is our environment, but very much so. The trees and the plants, whether it's just in the local park or in our own garden, and also obviously in the wider world, this is part of our environment, and we want to be able to use our intuition, because I think most of you guys are obviously going to be aligned with working co-creatively with the environment. But the problem is you can't necessarily, even if a company says, oh yes, we're being carbon neutral, or we're doing positive things, we're planting stuff in the Amazon, whatever they're saying, unfortunately can't always trust that. So this is why you want to involve your intuition. So if you are looking for a company that, I don't know, you can, because you're looking to buy a certain thing and you want to make sure that perhaps as part of what you're doing is you're dealing with a company that your dollars are actually going to have a beneficial flow on into the environment rather than a negative one, yeah, you might want to lean into your intuition there. So that's on that level, but even you can be leaning into your intuition even with a garden, because if you have an intuition that, oh, maybe I should plant certain flowers or certain plants, one of the ways that we certainly can have a relationship with our environment is by planting flowers, bushes, shrubs, or whatever, that actually feed and nurture the larger environment, whether it's the bees or the birds or all the different insects that are really important to our environment. If we actually lean into our intuition, then our little plot can actually start to connect with a larger environment. And in many ways, of course, that comes back to us, because by having that larger connection, we are feeling not just isolated in our little human bubble, but we are starting to feel connected to that wider environment. And it's been shown in lots of studies how much benefit that has for our own well-being, if you need a more personal reason to actually use your intuition for those environmental connections. So the environment, yes, that's the seventh area that you can use your intuition. So in other words, you can, of course, use your intuition in any area of life, and it is beneficial, in fact, to do so. So there you are. They're the 7 areas. There is lots of information on the channel. You can have a look at the different playlists that can give you different ways that you can use your intuition in those areas. And of course, if there's anything in particular you would like me to talk about as far as how to use your intuition in one area or another, just let me know and we can do that. So hopefully that will help you remember that you're brilliant.